This video we're going to be going over what are the 5 lowest recoil guns that are currently inside Warzone 2. If you're struggling to control recoil because they have messed that up in this game, then these are the 5 long range weapons you want to be using. So we've took all the guesswork out of it and we've managed to narrow it down to these 5 weapons which you're seeing on screen just now. You'll see the recoil test taken at a 10-meter distance, and as you can see with the meta builds, which we will show you in just a moment, for each one of these weapons you can get a very easy to control recoil pattern for every single gun. In most cases, for all of these guns, you could pretty much pull vertically downwards on your analog stick and control the recoil very easily. Let's get straight into the builds now, because we are going to get through the tuning as well for each one of these guns. If you do enjoy this style of content, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. But starting off, we have the KASTOV-545. This gun has kind of slipped under the radar, but is definitely a very easy to control gun. It actually has a very similar recoil pattern to the way the M4 used to work inside Modern Warfare 2019, so it's actually very easy to control. And the TTKs on the gun is not too bad either, but like I said, is mainly for that low recoil. Now, we are using the VLK optic on all of these guns, but what you want to make sure you do, you could choose any optic you prefer here, but just make sure you do get the weapon tuning correct. So you want to make sure you max out aim down sight speed and you max out the eye position to far to reduce the visual recoil as much as possible. Obviously, you want to have the 60 round mags on there because this is going to be a Warzone build. Moving on to the underbarrel, we're using the FTAC Ripper, and the FTAC Ripper is a very solid choice at controlling the recoil when it comes to stabilization, and that's kind of one of the most important stats of recoil in this game. Now, the other underbarrel grips that I do recommend is the Phase 3 grip, is also very similar to the FTAC Ripper. Basically, both of these do the exact same thing. And then also the pineapple grip is another really solid choice, but this is going to help more with that vertical recoil. So just keep that in mind. It just depends on what you prefer to control a bit more, but I definitely think overall the FTAC Ripper is the best choice. This is the tuning for it, so that's what you'll see on screen just now. So max out idle stability, max out recoil stabilization. Then we are using the Covert V suppressor. Now, this suppressor does not con your aim down sight time nearly as much as the rest of the options in this game, and that is why we've chosen it. We've made a video all about suppressors, so you can check that out if you want to, but the Covert V is the best suppressor in my opinion, just to make sure you're not getting too much of a con. When it comes to the actual tuning here, you want to max out aim down sight speed because recoil smoothness does basically nothing in this game, and then basically leave that bottom slider as center as possible. Unfortunately, I've moved it, so I'm struggling to get it back to the middle here, but that is what you want to do. Then when it comes to the barrel here, the IGK30 is the best barrel. Now, I have also tested out this barrel here, which is the KASTOV-7. It's not much better than the 406mm, so this is the one you want to be using right here. So for bullet velocity, recoil control, damage range, it gives you hip fire accuracy as well, but that's not too important when it comes to the overall stats. And when it comes to the tuning here, you want to max out the damage range and max out the recoil steadiness. Next up, we have the TAQ-56, and very similarly when it comes to the optic, it doesn't really matter which one you choose for the most part. Don't be using sniper scopes on ARs, but just make sure you get the tuning correct, which is the same as before. And then also you do want the largest mags, and then the FTAC Ripper is also on there as well, once again for that idle stability and recoil stabilization. Like I said, you could use the other 2 underbarrel grips like the Phase 3 or the pineapple. Make sure you get the tuning the same as well, so max out idle stability, max out recoil stabilization. Both of these stats are super important in this game. Then we are using the Covert V suppressor once again because, like I said, it is the best choice when it comes to assault rifles and not conning your aim down sight time. And then when it comes to weapon tuning, once again, you want to leave the bottom one untouched and then max out aim down sight speed because recoil smoothness is pointless. When it comes to the barrel, you want to go for the Tundra Pro barrel, which is the only one that actually helps with anything to do with range, so that is the one we're going to go for. And then when it comes to tuning here, you want to choose recoil steadiness and then max out the damage range once again. Next up, we have a gun that I really do enjoy using in this game, and that is the M13B. And once again, you want to choose the largest mags you can because this gun has a super fast fire rate. You want to choose whatever optic you prefer. Once again, make sure you get the tuning correct, of course. Don't want to waste too much time on that. FTAC Ripper once again because this gun actually does have a bit of side-to-side bounce, unlike it was inside Modern Warfare 2019. You do need to use the FTAC Ripper or the Phase 3 grip. I don't think the pineapple grip really helps this gun too much, to be perfectly honest. When it comes to the tuning, once again, idle stability recoil stabilization. You don't really need to worry too much about that. It's the same as before. Covert V suppressor, once again, like I said, on assault rifles is basically the best choice. And then weapon tuning, once again, you want to max out aim down sight speed, don't touch the bottom slider. When it comes to the barrel, you want to use the Bruin Echelon barrel, which is basically the only one that gives you extra range and control. The other one's built more to make this gun like an SMG, which actually kind of works well as a sniper support, by the way. Do not put this barrel on it, just use the base barrel. But when you're talking about long range builds, we need the Bruin Echelon, and then we do also need the weapon tuning to max out the recoil steadiness once again. And then you also want to max out the damage range as well on this barrel too. In this game, LMGs are by far and away the best choices for long range, and the reason for that is because this game plays a lot slower, so having a larger mag is always going to help. Not only that, if you are slow, the game in general is slow, so people won't be able to rush you as quick, and your movement doesn't need to be super snappy all the time. Also, the idle stability on LMGs is way better than assault rifles, so that is also a massive bonus to make sure your recoil patterns are constantly consistent, and you've probably seen that in the screenshot earlier in this video. Now, when it comes to the RPK, which is definitely a meta gun in this game right now, there is no barrel that really helps with recoil control. Now, this one does help with bullet velocity, but it doesn't give you recoil benefits, and the other two are basically for movement at the minute. Now, when it comes to trying to correct for that, we are using high velocity instead. This is going to give you bullet velocity, it does con your damage range. And then when you weapon tune that, we're maxing out the damage range there just to make sure we're not getting too much of a con to that. But then when it comes to the bullet velocity slider, we do not want to change this because recoil steadiness and bullet velocity are both very important. Then when it comes to the FTAC Ripper, the exact same thing goes once again. Weapon tuning for idle stability and recoil stabilization. Both of these stats are very important. Now, when it comes to RPK, I do think the Ripper or the Phase 3 grip are the best two options. The pineapple grip's not really going to help this weapon too much, to be perfectly honest with you, because the side-to-side bounce is what we need correct for. And then other than that, this has pretty much very straight recoil. So, like I said, the Ripper will be the better choice here. Polar Fire Suppressor is actually a very good choice on this gun. Is the best suppressor for the RPK by far, and it's actually a good choice for some of the other weapons it's available for. But it does give you the bullet velocity, the damage range, and the recoil smoothness is not really too important. And then when it comes to actually balancing this or tuning this attachment, you do want to go for the aim down sight speed once again, and do not touch the bullet velocity slider as always. OLE laser for the better aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Always need one of these on an LMG if we can. And then the VLK optic. Now, you can choose whatever optic you want. Once again, just make sure you get the tuning down correct, like I said before. And last but not least, we have the RAAL MG. Now, this gun is definitely going to get nerfed, and along with the RPK, I think, as well. But this gun is overall super solid at range. Now, the TTK on this gun is absolutely insane, which is obviously what makes it a meta gun. But also, as you've seen from the earlier recoil charts, this gun has pretty much zero vertical recoil, so you don't even need to try and compensate for the recoil with this gun. It pretty much beams in that direction constantly anyway, and the side-to-side bounce of the gun isn't even that bad, so you can basically manage it very easily. So, like I said, it's just a very good gun to use overall. So we are using the VLK optic once again, but you could choose whatever optic you like. Make sure you get the tuning correct. We are using the OLE laser because it gives you a faster aim down sight speed and a faster sprint to fire. On this gun, it's actually very slow, so you will definitely need this laser on there. Now, we are actually using the Rhino barrel, and the reason why we're using the Rhino over the Demo Field Pro is because it actually gives you recoil control, which is obviously what we're looking for here. So we want recoil control and bullet velocity, so very important that you choose the Rhino barrel here. And then we are maxing out the damage range and the recoil steadiness to make sure we get a super accurate weapon that you can extend at the damage range as far as possible as well. Bruin Agent Suppressor. Once again, this is the best suppressor for the RAAL LMG. It gives you sound suppression, it gives you bullet velocity, it gives you damage range, and then the recoil smoothness is not too important. But then when it comes to the weapon tuning, again, max out the aim down sight speed, do not touch the bullet velocity. And then lastly, the best underbarrel grip. Now, I've actually tested all of these in game and fired it at the wall. the Dune grip is the best grip when it comes to controlling recoil for the RAAL LMG. Idle stability, recoil steadiness are very important stats, and then it does call on your sprint to fire and aim down sight speed. When it comes to weapon tuning, idle stability and recoil stabilization, because again, this is going to be our long range rifle. So there we have it. Those are 5 guns that have super low recoil. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.